am still in the process, as you all can see, of unpacking my books and setting up my library. But I did want to come and share with you all some of the newest books I've gotten in my collection that I've been discovering while unpacking. So let's get right into it. Hola mi gente, MsMalcolmHughes here. Welcome back. Today we are sharing some of the newest books in my collection. A couple of them you will also see as options for books that I will be reading in September. You all can go vote on that on the community tab in the channel. So if you hear me discussing one and you feel like, ooh, I really want to read that and hear what that's about and whether or not it's good, go over there and vote as soon as possible. So the first book that we're going to discuss today is one that I had no idea it even existed. I was scrolling through looking at new releases, and this one kind of caught my attention, at least the ones that I don't have. And so it is Daughter in Exile by BC Ajapon. And here's what it's about. Lola is 21 and her life in Senegal couldn't be better. An aspiring writer and university graduate, she has a great job, a nice apartment, a vibrant social life, and a future filled with possibility. But fate disrupts her world when she falls for Armand, an American Marine stationed at the US Embassy. Her mother, a high court judge in Ghana, disapproves of her choice, but nothing will stop Lola from boarding the plane for Armand in America. That fateful flight is only the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Lola has traded her carefree existence in Senegal for the perilous position of an undocumented immigrant in 1990s America. She encounters adversity that would crush a less determined woman. Her fate hangs on whether or not she'll grow in courage to forge a different life from the one she'd imagined, and whether she'll succeed in putting herself and her family together again. Daughter in Exile is a hope-filled story about a mother's love, resilience, and unyielding strength. I remember reading this and thinking that it sounded interesting, so I hope that it pans out that way. Next up, we have one of the books you all can vote for. That is The Trees by Percival Everett. I believe he actually won the Booker Prize, or he was nominated or shortlisted for the Booker Prize for this one. And let's get into the description. When a pair of detectives from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation arrive in Money, Mississippi to investigate a series of brutal murders, they find at each crime scene an unexpected second dead body, that of a man who resembles Emmett Till. After meeting resistance from the local sheriff, his deputy, the coroner, and a string of racist white townsfolk, the NBI detectives suspect these are killings of retribution. Then they discover eerily similar murders taking place in rapid succession all over the country. The past, it seems, refuses to be buried. The uprising has begun. In this provocative page-turner that takes direct aim at racism and police violence, Percival Everett offers a devastating critique of white supremacy and confronts the painful legacy of lynching in the United States. I don't think I knew that's what this was about, but that description just made me want to read this even more. So again, this is one of the ones that you all can vote for my September reads, so head over to the community tab if that sounded as interesting to you as it did to me. Next up, we have a book that I've read, but I want to add all of them to my collection. That is Butterfly by Antoinette. I actually have super random of these. I have the 5th book, I think I have the 2nd or 3rd book that someone got me for my birthday one year, and now I have the 1st one. So just for the sake of being consistent and letting you all know what the book is about, even though I already have this full review of it up on the channel. Run away from the boy that gives you butterflies, he's going to break your heart. Morgan Atkins has been told that phrase ever since she was a little girl, and still she had allowed herself to fall for the boy that made her heart flutter. After losing her first love, Morgan is terrified to love again. She settled for a life with a respectable man. She has everything. She's living in the lap of luxury, and although she's comfortable, she's bored out of her mind. When a ghost from her past blows into town, she finds herself entangled in an illicit affair. It's wrong, but she can't fight the butterflies he gives her, and honestly, she doesn't want to. She can't hide the natural attraction she feels, and soon she's so deeply involved that she can no longer tell where the boundary between right and wrong lies. Her heart is telling her one thing, but her mind is saying another. Morgan has always been a spoiled girl, and she tries to have it all, but when she's forced to choose between a good man and a bad boy, someone will end up hurt, and someone may just end up dead. Y'all already know how I feel about the Butterfly series. So check that out, my review if you haven't. I'm thinking about doing a video of like some of my favorite like urban fiction series. Let me know what y'all think about that. Next is another book that you all can vote for a book that I should read in September. This one I was hoping to get to maybe before the year ends, but someone did ask whether or not I would be reviewing it, so I put it as an option for September. It's currently the one that's leading, so if you want to make sure it's the winner, definitely go over and vote. And if you want to make sure another book wins because you're not that interested in this one, still vote. Here it is. It is The Children of Anguish and Anarchy, the final book in the series by Tomi Adeyemi. And here's what it's about. When Zélie seized the royal palace that fateful night, she thought her battles had come to an end. The monarchy had finally fallen. The Magi had risen again. Zélie never expected to find herself locked in a cage and trapped on a foreign ship. Now warriors with iron skulls traffic her and her people across the seas, far from their homeland. Then everything changes when Zélie meets King Baldir, her true captor, the ruler of the skulls, and the man who has ravaged entire civilizations to find her. Baldir's quest to harness Zélie's strength sends Zélie, Amari, and Zane searching for allies in unknown lands. But as Baldir closes in, catastrophe charges Orisha's shores. It will take everything Zélie has to face her final enemy and save her people before the skulls annihilate them for good. I was not looking forward to this book. I'm not gonna lie, that description just pulled me in more than I thought it would. Y'all know I loved the first one. Didn't really love the second one. Really wasn't a fan of the ending. But this makes me feel like maybe it's going in a different direction than I anticipated. So we'll see. Like I said, this is the one that's winning. So this may be a book y'all will see real soon on the channel. All right, this next book is an author that I have reviewed on the channel. I loved her book, told y'all that. And the book I reviewed was The Street. And the one I have here is Country Place by Petry. Loved The Street. So I also have The Narrows. I have the collection of The Street and The Narrows in the same book. So I kind of want to read everything from her. And you'll see that with another book I have. But this is about Johnny Rowan has come home from years of fighting in World War II to his loving parents and his beautiful wife, Gloria. His first doubts about Gloria's fidelity are created on the way home by the local taxi driver, a passionate gossip, and these doubts mature with the hurricane that is bearing down on them, darkening the seemingly perfect town of Lenox, Connecticut. But a greater violence lurks beneath the surface of the storm. She's a good writer, and that could be a very interesting story. Like, the thing I like about her writing in The Street is that it's so visual, it's so detailed, but it's also so timeless. The stories, the messages, it's all something that you can relate to across time. And this is a story that seems relevant still. Like, you've been gone and you come back and you're wondering if your partner has been faithful or not, and the like complexity that comes with that. So looking forward to this. We have another book from her. It is Miss Muriel by Petry. This one is about a small town pharmacist's decision to take a day off leads his wife to an agonizing encounter with the police. A retired black college professor teaching at a predominantly white high school is kidnapped and forced to witness an unthinkable horror. A young black girl watches her aunt's suitors threaten her family's well-being with repercussions that reverberate for decades. Though Petry wrote these and other stories, so this is a collection of short stories. Interesting, yeah, Miss Muriel and other stories. That sounds like it's gonna be a lot, but in a good way. We're closing in, y'all. The next one we have is one that I've seen everywhere, so I wanted to pick it up. It was a good deal on it. It is Blood Scion by Deborah Falayi, and here's what it's about. 15-year-old Sloane can incinerate an enemy at will. She is a Scion, a descendant of the ancient Orisha gods. But under the brutal rule of the Luces, her identity means her death. Her mother knew as much. She disappeared trying to hide Sloane's truth. Sloane too has hidden her abilities, but on her 15th birthday, she is conscripted into the Lucius army. Once taken, Sloane must not only conceal her power, but overcome the bloody challenges of Lucius training. But if she can infiltrate the Luces, She could destroy her enemies, the people who think of her as less than human, the overlords responsible for her mother's disappearance. Sloane rises through the ranks and gains strength, but in doing so, risks something greater, losing herself entirely and becoming the very monster she abhors. You know, I'm trying to get more fantasy in my life, so yeah, we're gonna see. All right, this next one is one that hits home. It is Just Pursuit, a black prosecutor's fight for fairness by Laura Coates. And here's what it's about. When Laura Coates joined the Department of Justice as a prosecutor, she wanted to advocate for the most vulnerable among us. But she quickly realized that even with the best intentions, the pursuit of justice creates injustice. Through Coates' experience, we see that no matter how fair you try to fight, being black, a woman, and a mother are identities often at odds in the justice system. She and her colleagues face seemingly impossible situations as they teeter between what is right and what is just. On the front lines of our legal system, Coates sees how black communities are policed differently, black cases are prosecuted differently, black defendants are judged differently. How the court system seems to be the one place where minorities are overrepresented, an unrelenting parade of black and brown defendants in numbers that belie their percentage in the population and overfill American prisons. She also witnessed how others in the system either abused power or were abused by it. For example, when an undocumented witness was arrested by ICE, when a white colleague taught Coates how to unfairly interrogate a young black defendant, or when a judge victim blamed a young sexual assault victim based on her courtroom attire. Through these revelatory and captivating scenes from the courtroom, Laura Coates explores the tension between the idealism of the law and the reality of working within the parameters of our flawed legal system, exposing the chasm between what is right and what is lawful. Always interested in stories like this. It puts me in the mind of Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. All right, and next we have another short story collection. It is The Best American Short Stories. This one was edited by Junio Diaz. And I'm just interested to see how he would do it. I love these little collections. I'm thinking of like collecting all of them, but we'll see. It says, if the novel is our culture's favorite literary form upon which we heap all our desiccated literary laurels, if the novel is, say, our Jaime Lannister, then the short story is our very own Tyrion, the disdained little brother, the perennial underdog. But what an underdog, writes Junio Diaz in his introduction to The Best American Short Stories 2016. From a Nigerian boy's friendship with his family's former houseboy, to a sweatshop girl's experience as a sister wife, from love and murder on the frontier to a meltdown in academy. These stories for Diaz have the economy and power to break hearts, bones, vanities, and cages. Looking at the writers, this one should hit. I'm very excited to have it. Very excited for all of my new books. Very excited to be unpacking the tons of books that I have and haven't been able to display because they've been packed up. So excited to continue building my library and to come share it with you all. I will be coming back soon to tell you all the books that I have read in August. But that's it for now. What are y'all reading? Let me know in the comments below. What are y'all looking forward to me discussing? Yeah, I hope that y'all are enjoying the last bit of summer while we still have it, and I hope that we are all taking care of ourselves. And remember to have grace and patience with yourself, right? We're all doing the best that we can, and sometimes, some days, that may not be what you hope to be giving out, but again, have grace with yourself, and tomorrow and every day is a new day to try again. And I like to tell myself every moment in a day is a new moment to start over from that point as well. So I say all of that to say, as always, I am MsMalcolmHughes, one who believes that books are sometimes better than people. And until the next one, please remember to give time, to be kind to each other, and to have the very best day of your life on purpose. Peace, odabo, adios, ciao. See you guys soon.